She came out onto the porch like she'd been rehearsing it in her head for an hour. And before I could even say, "Hey, how was your day?" she was already yelling, "I know about you and Jordan." I just sat there for a second, porch light buzzing, neighbor's dog barking somewhere down the street, and I genuinely thought she was joking. She wasn't. For the next 20 minutes, Sarah stood in front of me on that porch and unloaded everything that I was cheating on her with my best friend Jordan, that I'd been using her financially the whole relationship, that I lied to her constantly about everything every day for 2 years. None of it was true, not one piece of it. I want to be clear about something because I think it matters for understanding what happened next. I didn't get defensive. I didn't raise my voice. I just sat there, hands on my knees, and asked her calmly, "Okay, when did this happen? Where? Show me one thing." She had nothing, not a text, not a photo, not a timestamp, not a location, just more accusations, louder ones, like volume could fill in for evidence. And that's when she said the name for the first time. Penny told me everything. I actually laughed a little, not out of disrespect, just confusion. "Who's Penny?" Sarah's whole face changed just for a second, a flicker, and then she recovered and said, "It doesn't matter who Penny is. What matters is what you did." I asked again, calmly. "No, genuinely, who is Penny? I have never once heard that name in 2 years." She changed the subject, brought up money again, brought up some trip from 8 months ago, brought up a coworker of mine she'd never even met. Every time I brought the conversation back to Penny, she steered it somewhere else, faster, angrier, like she was trying to outrun the question. I sat with that for a minute, watching her pace the length of the porch, and I said, still calm, "I want you to just tell me one real thing. One, with actual proof, not a feeling, not something Penny supposedly said, but proof." She refused. Flat out said I didn't deserve proof, that she shouldn't have to prove anything, that my asking for evidence was itself suspicious. And that's the moment I knew. I stood up off the porch step and I said quietly, "Okay, that's fine. I'm done." I didn't yell it. I didn't slam anything. I just meant it. She broke, not in a soft way, in the way someone breaks when the thing they built to protect themselves finally collapses on top of them. She sat down hard on the steps, put her head in her hands, and the whole story came out at once like she'd been holding her breath on it for weeks. She had been seeing two other people, one local, a guy from her gym she'd been seeing for a few months, one out of state, someone she'd met online and had been talking to and eventually meeting up with. On weekends, she told me she was visiting her sister. And Penny? Penny was the out-of-state guy's roommate. A few days earlier, Penny had accidentally sent a text meant for him straight to Sarah's phone. Wrong contact, wrong thread, the kind of mistake that blows up a person's whole life in 4 seconds. Penny panicked, called Sarah in a frenzy, and told her she needed to get ahead of it before the truth came out on its own. So Sarah did exactly that. She got ahead of it. She just aimed it at me instead. That's the part I want people to actually sit with. The accusation wasn't random. It was a strategy. Accuse him first. Make him spend his energy defending himself. Make everyone around you believe the lie before the truth has a chance to even stand up. It's a pattern, and once you've seen it, you start noticing it everywhere. Attack before you can be caught, so the attack becomes the alibi. I left that night, took a bag, went to my car, sat in a parking lot 2 streets over for almost an hour before I could even drive properly. Within a few days, Sarah was telling mutual friends that I had cheated on her. Some of them called me confused, asking what was going on. I didn't get angry with any of them. I just laid it out calmly in order. The porch, the accusations, the name Penny, her refusal to give a single piece of evidence, her own confession. I wrote down a timeline for myself, mostly to keep my own head straight, and when people asked, I showed them exactly what happened in sequence, no embellishment. Most of them believed me, not because I was convincing, because the story actually made sense and hers didn't. I'm doing fine now, living somewhere new, somewhere quiet, somewhere that doesn't have a porch that reminds me of anything. I'm not angry anymore, not really. I just understand something I didn't understand before. Sometimes the loudest accusation in the room is the guiltiest person trying to get there first. That's the part worth remembering. The attack was the confession. Have you ever been accused of something by the exact person who was doing it? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone.